And this, even though I don't get to do a lot of videos or talk about it much, is one of my favorite builds also, because I wanted to do something simple here for my wife and not destroy the drivability and everything and make this thing nice. So heat, air conditioning, stock, appearing, pretty quiet. Everything is in this thing is working really well. There's not much else to talk about it. It has like 456s, and we got some nice Yukon Denali late model 20-inch rims for it. Make it look really nice, surprisingly. And not my thing, but dress it up a little bit for my wife. And on very low boost, it's extremely torquey. One of my favorite things about it is, you know, the 4.8 can be a little bit dead down low. So what's nice about it is adding the small turbo, a slightly aggressive cam, and then gearing it pretty good. Sometimes people say, you know, 456, man, isn't that a little crazy? Well, in my opinion, these things come way under geared from the factory. They have like a 323 gear, and they have like a 31-inch tall tire. The damn thing can do like 170 in third, and it has no power down low. So, I mean, if you ask me, GM should have put 456s, at least a 410 in these 4.8 trucks. They have no power down low. Because you buy a 4.8 like this, and the damn thing, it does 1,800 RPM at 80 on the highway. It's gutless. You need to floor it all the time. And out of the hole, it doesn't really pull that great. You know, it really suffers from way too long of a gear and not enough power down low. I don't know why they took two opposites, because if you buy a 6-liter truck, the damn thing usually has 410s or 373 and like a tow package, and you know, it has way better torque down low, way better gearing, shorter gearing, make more use of all of it. And then you take the 4.8, which ain't that great down low, and you put the long ass gears in it. It's counterproductive, obviously. And the 456 with the average, you know, 30-some inch tire, it still does 130 in high gear, guys. So it's not like, you know, this thing is, I mean, that's more than it's going to trap. If it had 700 horsepower, you know, you might need to get a 410 or a 430 instead of a 456. But I'll tell you what, out of the hole, this thing is great with the, it still has a 60E. It only makes 350 tire on 4 pounds. And obviously we did that just so it would make turbo noises. And it's geared way down to help the transmission out, because the long ass gears pushing against the transmission doesn't really help it. It's just more stress. This guy is making a fucking turn without his fucking turn signal on. But yeah, you roll in, barely any pedal here. You hear the wastegate and you get all that torque and a little bit of compressor surge, and the truck feels very spunky. And all it has is gearing and I mean a very mild cam and turbo setup, but it makes it a lot of fun. The cam is a little bit big, especially because of these NNBS trucks seem to have a issue retaining vacuum, like the brakes don't work that great. So this cam only exacerbates that issue. It makes it worse. So it might have done better with a little bit smaller cam, but the idle on this thing is amazing. So the goal was for it to sound cool at idle, make turbo noises, make a little bit more power, but ultimately be drivable and reliable, which it totally is. I'm using it right now to pick up stuff at Lowe's for my new house. So it's a long bed truck with really no excuses here, and just putts around, and Jaimie takes it out and floors it a bunch and has fun, and it's simple. So there's a nice, you hear just a little bit of throttle, a little bit of turbo noise. Nice and easy. But she scoots, you know. This isn't a race truck. It's just the putts around her, worker. I'm curious to see what this combination would be capable of if we turned it up a little bit, but I'm not all about putting a transmission into this truck for no reason. So one day maybe we could put an 80E in it and crank on the power, because it's a 07. It has a really good engine, but for what we do with it, I mean, not totally needed. But incredible how quiet and nice it drives, and it just bumps the gears, and really very proud. It runs great. It took me a little bit to get it nailed down, but definitely happy with it. This is I mean, let's just go over an entire rundown of what it is again, because people might forget. But this is a 2007 long bed, regular cab, work truck. It's a 4.8 with the open diff, and it has a 60E, and I put a sloppy stage 2 cam in it, pack 1218 springs. It has decap stock truck injectors. It has a stock fuel pump. It has 456 gears in it. It has nothing done to the transmission. It has a 3-bar map sensor. It was converted to speed density. I messed around a little bit with it between mass air and speed density, and ultimately speed density won out for how I got it to drive and everything else. It makes 350 rear wheel horsepower to the tire on just 4 pounds of boost. So it does great, and like I said, the power comes in at like, it makes full boost at like 2200. So pretty much as soon as you roll into it, it's like driving a 1.8T, but a V8 work truck. It has tons of torque down low, and the short gearing really helps. And it's just fun to scoot around in, other than it's huge. These NNBS trucks are huge. They feel so big to me, especially after you drive to Colorado for a little bit. And other than that, it has like 100,000 miles on it, and it's been a great truck. It's really been treating us good. And man, it's really a simple combination. It has a KB Racing log manifold on it that I created the crossover for. It has a VS Racing 44mm wastegate welded right to the turbine housing. I'm using a VS Racing 70-65 turbo, so it's a 70 compressor, 65 turbine, and it lights off great. It's not a big horsepower build, not meant to be crazy. I'll definitely walk around and get a nice clip of it idling again, because man, the chop it has, and it's so simple. It's literally the turbo off the downpipe is connected to the stock catback, so it's quiet. But if you're around and there's nothing else around, it has a really nice chop. It's very noticeable. Like when you go get gas or something, it has some serious chop. Let's let this guy go. People are just backing up traffic. You know, just let the fucking guy go. You're all doing 2 miles an hour anyway. Papa Bear. Silverado. Yeah, anyway, 70-65. KB Racing manifold. I did the rest of it. I connected the exhaust. Some simple intercooler pipe. VS Racing intercooler. You know, I get a lot of stuff from my buddy Varen. Here's my boy. And man, it's so simple and works out so well. I would say if it's your daily, you might not want to get a cam this aggressive. It's going to kill your mileage. But this thing, you know, not a daily, just a toy. But still gets decent mileage for what it is. The 456s were extremely worth it, in my opinion. Some people don't think they're worth it, but man, couldn't have made a better decision on going really aggressive on the gearing, because this is a big truck, and it's funny, that's like, it seems like if you watch a bunch of my videos, it seems like I'm really rolling into this thing, but it's only like 40% throttle, if that. It just kicks right up into boost, and it's rewarding for once to build like a average power instead of an explosive power vehicle. Obviously, it's nice to have both. Driving around with the mix of both is tons of fun, because you can smash out a ton of power or gently poke around. But for a truck this big, you know, it feels like a blower car almost, like it has a Magna charger. So I don't know really what else I can say other than I got this Innovate wideband / boost controller, and it does work, but man, I just don't trust Innovate widebands, and I haven't for a while. I just wanted to try it out in this truck, but part of me just, I feel nervous. Like, I'm like, is it okay? And then of course, ever since I put the 456 in, I keep getting these brake and ABS codes. I'll figure them out one day. It doesn't affect how the thing drives. If you shut it off for a while and come back, they go away. You drive 40 miles an hour plus, they come back. We put the wheels on. I never reset the TPMS like I said I would. They're in there, I just got to reset them. So it says service tire monitor. I mean, there's a ton of lights on in here, but they would be easily turned off. But it does not affect drivability or anything else at all. So it's one of those things that you'll get around to it when you give a shit, because it's completely fine otherwise, and it doesn't nag you or beep or ding or flash. They just sit on. It doesn't bother me. Anyway, if you guys have questions about this guy or anything else about Big Red here, I hate that I named it there. I hate it. Can you just back up and act like I never said that? I did post some dyno videos of this. We don't post much about it because it's my wife's truck and she generally doesn't care to have people know about it. She's not into that. But I know some people have questions. You know, they think it's sold or haven't seen it in a while. We've still been driving it. It drives great. I mean, it's really awesome how nice this thing drives. Look at that. We make 1.2 pounds of part throttle in high gear. Fourth gear going up a hill at 45 miles an hour at 1800. We can make a bunch of PSIs below 2,000 RPM. Pretty awesome. Alright, I think I have gone on enough, and again, if you have questions about this truck in particular, I think I have it up on the wiki, what all we used. It has worked out really well, and that is all for this guy. I'll get an idle clip. When I stop, I'll walk around this thing. It has a really nice chop.